Marlins. It does not get any better than that. How we doing, everybody? It's your guy Wardy here, and we're back at it with an electric Mets post-game show to get into, presented by our amazing sponsors at SeatGeek. Utilize our promo code Wardy10, that way you too get 10% off your next ticket purchase. Shout out to Mumu, the official trading platform of the New York Mets, but we will get into them later on today's show. I want to see those W's spam right here, right now, everyone watching live on a replay. I got to see it spam in the live chat as well as to all of our replay viewers. What an amazing victory it was for the Mets tonight. Not only did they make history by putting up 19 runs, something the Mets have never done in their endless years of existence, they're at home. That is a first. JONAH dazzled in his MLB debut that we saw, going 5 rock-solid innings for this Mets team, as we're going to completely deep dive the good, the bad, and everything in between with JONAH. It was more of good than anything else. The buddy, the man himself, did not even walk a single batter, and it did not matter. What I love so much about JONAH is how composed this man was, is what we saw. Even while you had bad fundies around him, Pete Alonso can't handle a ball, Lindor can't handle a ball. Deja vu from the day prior where we saw this Mets defense be their demise, and that 7-4 defeat. That was not the case today, however. JONAH gets the job done. 5 brilliant innings. The fastball was touching 97. The curveball was disgusting. The changeup was sorting up batters as well. He was amped up, hyped up, and honestly pissed off with how the outing ended, because he knew he should have been out of there sooner. So JONAH is locked in at the young age of 22. The Mets bats came to play today big time, everybody, and we have so much to get into, as you got a home run, you got a home run, you got a home run, and you got a home run. It really felt like literally everybody and their mother had themselves a big hit in this ball game against the sorry Miami Marlins. What the Mets should have done yesterday is what they did today. They let out a lot of frustration. The best part of it all is that they did this by getting Eury Perez out of the ball game in the first inning. Are you kidding me? Eury Perez, for those that don't know, is one of the best young phenoms of a pitcher in all the National League. He entered today's outing with right around a 3.4 ERA or so, and Eury Perez was taken out of this ball game before the first inning even ended, because Buddy was at roughly 40 pitches after giving up a bunch of early runs here. So I don't know if something happened with Perez on the health front. The velo was still there and it was fine. Everything about him was just not good. He couldn't locate at all. The ump was horrendous for both Ton and himself today, that being in Perez. The ump was a schmuck. The defense was bad, but it does not matter. What we need to know is that the Mets went teeing up here and certainly went fishing against those fish of Miami, and they win by a whopping final score tonight of 19-9. As I said, everybody, do not hold back from getting the hype going in the live chat right here, right now. We have so much to break down from this amazing victory. Thank you guys so much again for hitting that like and subscribe on your win. It is really appreciated. And shout out to all you guys. Juliet, thank you so much for the new gifted membership. Really appreciate that. Shout out to Jay again for being a new great member. Happy to have you in here, baby. We got Dino Caps, great member in here. How we doing? We got Drop 5, as always, great member and moderator in the chat. We got JTB, great member in here. We got Rebecca, great member. We got our guy Clay with a $5 haul. You get a home run. You get a home run. You get a home run, and you get a home run. He knows what's up. He knows what's chilling with the vibes right now. Love to see that going up the list here. We got Tommy. We got Lisa. We got Maya. We got Merritt. We got Skip. We got all you guys. We got Kevin. We got Ines. How we doing? We got Kenny. We got No Name. We got Hector. We got KC Royal, great member. We got Peter, great member in the chat. How we doing, everybody? Jojo, great member. Blue Raider, great member in here. Michael Stroh, great member. PB9, great member in front of the platform. As always, all you guys, get the hype going. Start to spam those W's in the live chat if you haven't already. We're going to break down everything that you need to know from the entirety of this dominant 19-9 victory over the Miami Marlins. Let me just preface here, this should not have been a final score of 19-9. The Mets should have won 19-5 or 19-4 or so, because listen, we were so up and so down bad in how we felt for Miami that we decided to throw Luis Torrens in the 9th inning. Torrens went and ultimately gave up 4 runs in the 9th inning, 2 home runs, garbage time home runs, but it does not matter. A huge 19-9 victory. And again, guys, a day removed from the Philadelphia Phillies teeing up on the Atlanta Braves, putting up 19 plus runs themselves. The Mets said, hold my beer, I got to do the same now. So again, the battle continues there in playoff contention, everybody, as we currently see the Mets are now a whole 5 games up on the Cincinnati Reds, as the Reds did drop in extra innings 7-5 against the St. Louis Cardinals today. We also know that the Mets are still obviously a ways away behind the Philadelphia Philadelphia Phillies, but all it takes is continued winning and a series, not necessarily a sweep, but a series victory against Philadelphia in Philly a week or so from now that can really get things cooking for the better and their chances to still make something happen there in the NL East this year, guys. But like I said, we have a lot of breakdown in JONAH's brilliance today. To give you guys a quick summary, this is it. 5 gorgeous innings, 4 total runs, but only 1 earned, because again, it's not his fault that Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor don't know common defense if it smacked him across the face that we saw there in his final inning of work or so. Ryan Helsley actually was competent today. We're going to talk about why exactly that was and what's been going on with Helsley and tipping pitches. Jose Castillo went 2 solid innings for this Mets team as he was eating the bulk of the work. Luis Torrens batting practice, 54 ERA. Hey, it could be worse. Eric Orzi had an infinite ERA for his MLB debut last year in Pittsburgh. If you know, you know. Ryan Stanek got the job done, had to get those final 2 strikeouts to end the ball game. And on the heading end, everybody, this is how the ball game ended. That's why you see Ryan Stanek slotted in there, because he was technically slotted as the batter in the end because of how they went about everything. Yes, you heard that correctly. But out of the few guys that were not pulled before the end of the ball game, Brett the Hitman, Tyrone Taylor, Brandon Nimmo, what a game for Brandon. Mark Vientos, Pete Alonso, everybody and your mother recorded a hit tonight for the most part for this Metropolitan 19-9 victory, folks. So now, as we always do, before we break down the ball game and before we get into all the brilliance that was JONAH today, towing the rubber for his MLB debut, we gotta let it rip, everybody, as we always do, with the one, the only, the Mets dominant victory edition with the Lobster. Elmo's currently in the other room, so maybe we'll grab Elmo later if you know, you know. But let's let it rip as we always do, everybody, with the one, the only, the official WardyNYM post-game jingle. Let's do this, baby. Oh, click the wrong thing. That's fine. Let's go here. Now let's click this bad boy. Let's get it cooking. Post-game! Post-game! Calling all Met fans, come and join us now. Talking about this game and gonna break it down. It's Mets post-game. Shout out to my guys Greg and Jordan, as always, with the official WardyNYM post-game jingle. For those that don't know the inside joke here, going back north of 2 months, I was on vacation. When I was on vacation, my backdrop featured a bunch of these lobsters on the wall, and the Mets were winning when I was doing my game coverage while I was out of town. So I figured we might as well bring a lobster back, keep the vibes going. I was a schmuck and decided not to utilize the lobster for the ensuing couple weeks after getting back home, just honestly because I forgot about it for a period of time. Then once I realized we got to bring the lobster, we're bringing the lobster in, and we've had more wins than losses with the lobster. So we will take that, baby. Lobster hype going. We got to get something silly with the rally going. Again, it doesn't need to be anything that makes sense. The same way that Grimace didn't make sense last year. The same way that the Parakeet back with Yoenis Cespedes, if you know, you know, didn't make sense. The same way that, you know, whether it's going to be Donnie Stevenson, which it was a terrible example, whether it's the Rally Pony, whether it's the Rally Pimp, all these different types of ways to say that, listen, the Mets just want to have some fun, and we're going to have some fun on the platform too, as we do with our Rally Lobster there after a big victory in this one. Thank you guys so much for the donations as you guys are chiming in live on a replay right now. Let me go ahead and answer as many of these as I possibly can, and then let's break down what was a big victory, a dominant victory for the Mets over Miami, rightfully so. But the biggest story of the day, guys, yes, I know the Mets put up 19 runs, but I don't care nearly as much about the Mets putting up 19 runs as I care a whole lot more about how JONAH looked in his MLB debut. Because listen, the Marlins are the Marlins. We should be beating up on them. This is something that I should be expecting more of, quite frankly. I did not expect it with Yuri Perez exiting the ball game in the first inning of the game. That was really jaw-dropping to me. I was expecting a pitcher's duel, hoping that the Mets would win by a final score of 4-2, and the Mets put up 5 runs in the first inning. So clearly I had no clue what I was yapping about. We got the 2-Hall, weirdest game I've ever been to. Also, JONAH, well, I'm glad you attended. Tonight was a fantastic ball game to attend if you're a Mets fan. We got my guy Drop, as always, with the 2-Holla. See what 8 and 9 with runners scoring position does for us, LFGM. Oh, you said it. The boys showed up big time. In case you guys want to know how brilliant the Mets were with runners in scoring position today, they were as good as ever. This was quite literally the best stat line the Mets have ever had with runners in scoring position. And mind you, the Mets entered tonight's game with the #1 team batting average in runners in scoring position for the entire month of August. Quite the contrary from being ranked 29th in baseball everywhere else this season. So literally the Mets went from being worst to best. So whether it's Eric Chavez and Jeremy Barnes finally getting their head out of their ass to figure out something with this Mets and their hitting approach, whether it's the Mets offense coming together and their core group better to finally figure it out, either way, it's working, it's clicking, and the Mets were an absolutely absurd and jaw-dropping 8 for 9 with runners in scoring position today, and they still managed to leave 5 on base. So yeah, I'm going to go on a limb and say the Mets had a decent day with the offense. You know, they had 18 hits. The Marlins had 15 hits. Granted, a lot of them happened in that 9th inning when Torres was pitching, but the point still stands. The boys came to play today, and they gave JONAH more run support and his first ever MLB start than Jacob deGrom ever got run support as a New York Met. Literally, can we just take a moment to realize how contrary this is to previous times that we've had a top young pitching prospect make their debut or obviously go out and dominate in their early careers? How many endless pitch outings have we seen where your starter looks solid, but the offense doesn't show up? That's not the case, though, and as a surprise, absolutely nobody, Carlos Mendoza said that the Mets are going to a 6-man rotation for now, and JONAH is staying in the rotation. It's almost like that was always going to be the case when JONAH was making his debut. The only way that Ton was not going to be staying in the rotation is if Buddy got rocked, looked scared, and looked like he had no clue how to handle the major leagues. No, JONAH looked as calm, cool, and comfortable as ever, and JONAH, again, guys, he gave up no more than 1 run in 18 of his previous 22 starts in the minor leagues. JONAH continues that trend at the major league level, allowing just 1 earned run today across 5 brilliant innings against the squad, that being the Miami Marlins. Thank you so much for those donations. Skip with the $2. Thank you so much, LFGM, my guy. Really do appreciate that. Billy Dottie with the $2. I think I'm getting a Ton and McClain jersey. Might as well. They're under club control for like the next 6 years, so they should, God willing, not go anywhere anytime soon. Nicholas with the $5. What a night. I'm at Citi Field right now. Place is electric. I love these Mets. Best place in the world. Ton is electric. And guys, listen, I hope that they have some fireworks for you guys that attended today's game, because listen, when you look at the fireworks games, the Mets haven't done well at all in the fireworks games this year on Friday nights for the most part. Even on my Wardy day, they fell short of their rally to the San Francisco Giants, and the Mets had so many home run heroics and so many bombs happening early that I wonder if they ran out of some of those fireworks games set for their fireworks show that they do usually every Friday night or so that we see at Citi Field. But regardless, guys, I'm amped up. I'm hyped up. JONAH's here. The offense broke out, and everything in between was okay with the exception of the defense. Didn't like the defense, but outside of that, we're cooking. Stephen A., love you, my guy. Happy to have you in here as always, brother. Hope you're doing fantastic. Dave Kaplitz, great member, great friend as always. Thank you so much for chiming in. Jose B., thank you for the kindness. Yes, guys, help us get a 300+ likes to our live and recurring viewers. We have north of 500 people in here right now, so if you guys could smash that like and subscribe button for your boy, it'd be greatly appreciated. We got Levine's, the finest, great member here. We got Broken Jester. What a night. That was so fun. I'm so glad, dude. I'm so glad you had so much fun there. Seriously, you've been attending like every game all year long, and you deserve to see a big victory like that one, my guy. Absolutely love to see it. The game should have ended 45 minutes ago. 100% it should have ended 45 minutes ago. But we're not going to complain about it. And I love the nicknames, too, with JONAH, everybody. We have 3 nicknames. One of them is a little bit more than just PG, and that's okay. The same way that I call Alonzo, whether it's the Polar Bear, whether it's Pistol Pete, or the Beyond PG one and Big Meat Pete, is the same way that JONAH is deemed by many as either the Canadian Cannon, King Ton, as a play on King Kong, which I love as well, or Big Don Ton. So again, whichever one you guys like, whichever one fits your vocab best is fine with me. All I'm saying is we're going to have a lot of fun with the wordplay here, everybody. And Eric, thank you guys for so much for the kind words. I really appreciate that. Broken Jester with a $2 states of following. Give me that post-game jingle. I did the jingle already, Jester, but don't worry, we're going to do the jingle one more time before I end the live show. All you guys got to do is remind me. I promise I will make that happen as long as you guys remind me. And folks, we're going to deep dive his greatness entirely here in just the next couple minutes, but just to give you guys a sneak peek, JONAH effed around today, and my goodness gracious, did the Marlins find out. JONAH and his MLB debut was as stellar, as dazzling, and as advertised as they come. He goes 5 dominant innings of 0 walk, 1 earned run, 6 strikeout ball, 97 pitches. We are going to deep dive everything you need to know about JONAH's arsenal, what was working tonight for him, how his spin rates were working, and ultimately what were the whiff rates looking like, and everything in between here as we break down more about his start here in a second. But yeah, JONAH looked damn good if you ask me. Shout out to my guy Steve as well, of course, for your anniversary. Love you, Steve. Thank you so much for being a great member, friend of the platform as always. And I do got to get back to you. I know you texted me earlier today. I apologize I didn't get a chance to. Riddle, thank you so much for the kind words. Appreciate that. JTB, great great member of the chat in here as always. Juliet, great member. All you guys chiming in live at a replay. We appreciate every single one of you, everybody. And like I said, we're going to break down more on Jonathan's brilliance just a little bit into this one because we have a lot of Mets offense to talk about. Like a lot. The Mets scored 5 in the first. They scored 7 in the second. They scored 4 then. Pardon me. They scored 5 in the first, 7 in the second, 6 in the 8th, 1 in the 6th. They spread it all out big time in this one, and they managed to face 3 pitchers in the first 2 innings between Yuri Perez, Tyler Zuber. Remember that dog when he was in the Mets organization? Sadly, Zuber became batting practice before it was a little too late there. Pardon me, before his outing was over, I should say, today. And then they brought in Belozo, I think was the other one. Below Bum, as I like to call him. Anyone that's in a Miami Marlins uniform, we're going to rag on tonight. Why? Because I know we can. That's why. But again, guys, we're going to do the jingle before the end of the live show. Just remind me, JT with a $5 holla, states of following, and then we're going to break this one down. Hopefully, Tong can develop the curve a little bit more. He's only 22 years of age. If you think he can, I got a bridge to sell you. I think he needs to mix in and just a bit more, for sure. Listen, he went fastball heavy today, but you have to understand he's just getting a feel. He's a 22-year-old making his MLB debut playing the Miami Marlins. He knows he doesn't need to necessarily go too crazy with it until he finds himself in a bit of a jam. That's why he was fastball heavy, especially early on in this outing that we saw, getting a feel for that. And again, he was touching 97 with the first fastballs that he was throwing tonight. So, guys, let's get into it. Let's break it down because as we saw there in the first inning, it was a 6-pitch 1-2-3 there for Jonathan. Jonah not only worked himself getting that first out on the first 4 pitches that he threw there, and mind you, it was fastball, 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 and then he went changeup. The first changeup he threw led to a flyout. Afterwards, we saw a quick flyout first pitch there to left that we saw to WardyNYM and Marcy. Then another first pitch, this time a pop out of an out for the final out of the inning for Jonathan, who gets the pop out of Brett Beatty, and that does it. Jonathan, 6 pitches, 3 outs, and we're through the first. In the bottom of the first, everybody, Francisco Lindor gets on with a leadoff walk. It's a 4-pitch walk by Yuri Perez, and as I stated, he did not look good today. The velo was touching 100 for Yuri, which was great, but velocity means jack shit, and we know this part of my French, if we know anything about Ryan Helsley, for example, that if you aren't locating, if you don't have it, it's going to get exposed, and that was quickly the case, because as Lindor would steal his 25th bag of the year shortly after getting on with that 4-pitch walk, Juan Soto would absolutely get all of that one. Soto with a bomb just under 400 feet. He gets a fastball 99 upstairs, middle. What do you think's going to happen, buddy? It's going to be a bomb. That's what. Juan Soto with an absolutely towering blast. His 33rd home run of the year, a 2-run shot, driving in the Mets runs early, and just like that, in the snap of a finger, the Mets have themselves an early 2-0 lead in this ball game. That would shortly continue because Alonso would get on with a single. We would see Vientos get on with a walk. Like I said, Yuri Perez just looked like dog water from start to finish in this first inning. WardyNYM, then, everybody, he's trying to get in on the hit parade, and what does he do? He gets himself a 98-mile-per-hour pitch inside, down and in, and he turns on that bad boy, 380 feet, 103 off the bat. It's his 21st home run of the year for WardyNYM, and like that, everybody, the Mets are now up 5-0, when, mind you, my pregame prediction today was that the Mets were going to win 4-2. I really thought that this was going to be, honestly, more of a circumstance where it was a pitcher's duel. Tom was looking good, Perez was looking good, but the Mets were going to win in the end. And boy, oh boy, am I happy to be proven wrong. Really happy to hear that as well, Broken Jester. Me and my daughters are in your highlight reel on the right. All right, let's go ahead. Let me know where they are. Tell me what home run especially is where the highlight is. Because, again, I unintentionally did that, but I'm so glad I did. For those that don't know, Broken Jester is a member on the platform. He attends basically every game with his daughter especially, which is so sick. Their first row right in the Mets outfield to the left side. He actually, for the first time in his existence of a baseball fan, actually got a home run ball yesterday that we saw in the Mets 7-4 loss. Really cool. But I got to see in the highlights where you were for that bomb, because I know it's not the Soto bomb. It has to be a home run that was to left. So everybody, let me know if you guys see someone that looks like Travis Jankowski maybe holding a sign and left. I promise you that's Broken Jester who's chiming in the live show right now, which is pretty sick. Absolutely love to see that. I really appreciate the fact that so many of you guys chime in as you're exiting the ball game. Like, that's another thing that I really do not take for granted. I think that's such a kind thing that you guys go out your way to do. So seriously, thank you so much for that. But let's go ahead. Let's continue to break it down. What do you think about this name? Tonzasor. I can't even say this right. I'm gonna butcher it. I know what you're saying, and I don't hate that name at all, but I feel like I'm gonna butcher how to say it. Tonsaurus Rex. I don't hate that. I like that. I think that enters the fold for sure. there were the Mets sign and the Mr. Mets sign. I got you. I'll definitely make sure to check it out more. Thank you so much, Jester, for being in here. As we continue on, guys, the Mets are up 5-0 early in this ball game. After they would get 5-0, we would see us head to the second inning, and Otto Lopez greets JONAH rudely. Lopez would get the hit parade started for Miami, as the first hit ever given up by JONAH in his young career is going to be, yes, a double down the third baseline just past Mark Vientos' glove. Not surprised to see that when Marky V is not the best defender. That's an understatement. But we would see his 18th double of the year there, would put a runner immediately in scoring position. What happens next would be brilliant. We would see a ground out on Liam Hicks, a line out on Connor Norby there, right into the glove of Francisco Lindor, and then Troy Johnston with a little comebacker right to Mr. That being in JONAH, who handles the play comfortably, gets the play to first, and that does it for a scoreless second inning. So JONAH gives up a leadoff double, but does not allow that runner to score. As we head to the bottom of the second, with 2 outs, and mind you, the Mets did all this with 2 outs, which is so impressive. Yuri Perez is out of the ball game already. The Mets are already cooking here, that we see entering the second inning. And as we would see entering the second inning, everybody, you're facing Tyler Zuber, and with 2 outs, Juan Soto gets on with a single. Here we go. Then what happens next? Tyler Zuber, who knows a lot about this Mets team and knows a lot about Pete Alonso, made the great mistake of throwing first pitch sweeper, 81 miles per hour, middle. What do you think's going to happen, kiddo? What happens is a 371-foot bomb, liner opposite field, shades of that home run that Alonso hit there in the wild card off of Devin Williams in last year's playoff run. Eerily similar, as it was a liner for sure. First pitch swinging, mind you, right after the little break there by S&Y, and that would give the Mets immediately a 7-0 lead in this ball game. It's his 31st home run of the year, everybody. Alonso, if I'm not mistaken, now has how many RBIs on this season? 110. Kind of a big deal. My prediction heading into the season was that Alonso would hit at least 40 home runs, probably pushing north of 50, which I know in hindsight I'm wrong about, but I did predict that Alonso would have 130 plus RBIs this year, and that's holding true. Alonso is going to have a career year in RBIs, or get very close to. Hyper Mario with a $5 holla. Thank you so much, my guy. He says, Bane, was an honor to work both McLean and Ton's debuts. For those who don't know, Mario works at Citi Field, and he chimes in all the time. Although I prefer Tonzilla, that's a good one too, over King Ton. These are all great names. I love it. Again, more the merrier is what I have to say about that. Work was hectic, but big dub. Thank you so much for the donation, my guy. Get home safe. Really do appreciate you. Stephen A., you're a beauty. Again, thank you so much for chiming in. As always, still loving my Mets. Love to hear that, Leon. Happy to have you in here, baby. As we continue on, the Mets are up 7-0. All 2 out heading that we would see in the second. Mark Vientos gets the hit streak going again. After it snapped on the 11th game yesterday, he's right back on the high horse today. Brandon Nimmo, what a walk. Starling Marte, what does he do? Marte ropes himself, or hits himself rather, a nice opposite field single that would give the Mets at that point in time an 8-0 lead in this ball game, everybody. The Mets are up 8-0. Brett Beatty gets on with a walk. Tyrone Taylor says, let's just open the floodgates entirely. It's only the second inning, but who cares? Show no mercy. Tyrone Taylor with his 16th double this season, everybody, puts the Mets up a whopping 10-0 in just the first 2 innings of this ball game. And the worst part for Miami is that it wasn't over yet. Tyler Zuber exits this ball game as he finishes now with an ERA of 11.25. Hate that for Zuber. Love that for us, however, as Therese would get on with a walk. Lindor then would smack himself his 28th double of the season, everybody. Lindor with a single and a double to begin this ball game, and a stolen bag. That would make it 12-0 Mets, as Lindor now on the RBI front has himself a total of 75 on the season and counting. Juan Soto would strike out to end the inning, and he was smirking because he knew that the hit parade was ridiculous by this offense, but not before the Mets go ahead and find themselves up big time, 12-0 in this ball game early. Listen, when was the last time the Mets scored 12 runs in their first 2 innings? Is that the first time in franchise history that's happened? It feels like it's close to. The only other game that I could think of where the Mets, I really can't. I can't. I thought I was going to think of one, but I was actually thinking of the opposite. I was thinking of when Thomas Szapucki was batting practice for the Mets in his first 1.5, 2 innings in San Fran against the Giants, as the Mets got hosed that game. I think it was a big back and forth with the offense, but they got hosed initially on the offensive end. And ironically, Szapucki ended up getting dealt or signed to the Giants a year or so later. I don't think he's in the organization anymore, but that's just me talking about history. And no, it's the first time in Mets history that they scored this amount in the first 2 innings. I'm not surprised to hear that. Again, the Mets don't have a storied history, so them to have more runs than ever before at home tonight isn't overly shocking to hear. 19 runs at Citi Field. When was the last time that's happened? trick question. It hasn't happened before. So again, the Mets are finally starting to rewrite the script. The offense has been brilliant. We know this. And again, since the beginning of August, the Mets have the best team batting average with runners in scoring position right around 370, 375. I'm sure after an 8-for-9 game, they're probably pushing north of 400 right now. Like, unbelievably good, to say the least. And as we would continue on this ball game, Wagman would lead off the third inning with a single. Then Joey Wiemer strikes out, and that is the first strikeout of the young JONAH in his career. And how does he strike him out? He gets him with the curveball. 78 down and away. Pitch number 3. You're out of here is Wiemer, and there's one away. Shout out Jonah. What a nasty pitch that you guys, I'm sure, are watching the highlights beside me right now. Xavier Edwards would get on with a single himself, but that was more so because of Francisco Lindor. I don't know how in heck I should be saying this in the case of that play. It's an unfortunate one as it, again, deflected off of Lindor's glove. So there's runners at second and third. JONAH then, with a wild pitch, would put runners at second and third there with less than 2 outs. Marcy would be called out on strikes, which was a generous call. JONAH got some very generous calls by the umpire today, and he was also horrendous with other calls. Again, Helen Keller is the umpire pretty much every single day of the week in Major League Baseball nowadays. It's a shame, but that's what we saw. Oscar Ramirez, though, everybody would ground out, and JONAH would escape the jam unscathed. Strands a runner at second and third, and scoring position, not a problem, everybody. And that's where we're seeing live in real time the early confidence and calm, cool, collective mentality that JONAH shares, in great similarity to one, that being in Noah McLean. You guys see right away how already between Noah McLean's 3 starts and JONAH's 1 start, this month start sample size from these 2 starters has been a greater month sample size in sense of starts if we're going at 1 start a week, even though I know it's on average closer to 2, right? The point is that over that 4-start span, the Mets haven't had this good of a 4-start span since the first month of the season, when we're talking about pretty much this rotation in its entirety. They haven't done much at all, but now McLean has been dazzling every time out there. Ton looked brilliant, and this one did exactly what he needed to do. Not too much, not too little. He was just right, just like the Bears and their favorite porridge. But as we continue on in this, everybody, in the bottom of the third, we would see Pete Alonso with a leadoff single, pull to the left side. Alonso, the polar bear, gained the offense cooking yet again. The Mets would not score in this inning. However, they would still be up by a whopping score currently of 12-0. So at the same time, who cares? At the top of the fourth, we would see a 1-2-3 for JONAH. He would strike out Otto Lopez. He'd get a line out of Liam Hicks, and then a called strike 3 on Connor Norby, which again was a generous call by the umpire here that we saw for the called strike 3 on that. Pardon me, what am I saying? That was the 5th inning, not the 4th inning. The 4th inning, it was right down the pipe there, and we saw it was 96 middle. All he needed to do is swing, but he decided not to. He freezes him, that being Connor Norby, and the Mets now head to the bottom of the 4th. In the bottom of the 4th, they would go down 1-2-3, setting the stage for the 5th inning, where JONAH faced far and away his largest sense of adversity in this ball game, and would lead with a Troy Johnson single. Then a wild pitch by Tom puts the runner in scoring position. Then Wagman pokes himself a single to make it a 12-1 Miami Marlin deficit. Now listen, Tom gave up his first RBI. That would be the only RBI that Tom gives up in this ball game. Ryan, thank you so much for the gifted. That's so kind of you, my guy. You get a membership. You get a membership. You get a membership. You get a membership. And you get a membership. Ryan from deep 3, bang! Q Mike Breen with the 5 gifted in here. Thank you so much for that. Shout out to Sean MD, Andres, Yoo-Hoo, Lounge, and Name. Congratulations. You guys are now all members on the platform, courtesy of Ryan being so generous to hook you guys all up. Thank you so much for the memberships there. I really do appreciate that. If you guys would like to join our membership group, where we do a live show basically at least once a month, every single month, for a Q&A segment, which means we will be having one upcoming probably over the next week or so, barring changes, guys, so be on the lookout. And I honestly can say right now, next Thursday feels like a great time to do it because the Mets do have an off day that day. So barring changes, that feels like a great time to do our latest Q&A live stream for just our members only. We do it every single month. Thank you guys again so much for the gifted there. Shout out my guy RP in the chat. As always, happy to have you in here. Alvin, great members, all you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lindor is probably mine too. I love Lindor for sure. Even with his inconsistencies at times, he's brilliant. But the Mets would be down. Pardon me, not down, but they would have, instead of a 12-0 lead. It would be a 12-1 lead. Oh my goodness, Michael, thank you so much for the donation as well. $50 holla, another bang from 3. Bang, back-to-back 3s. In one corner, it's OG Anunoby. And another corner, it's, yes, you guessed it, Mr. Jalen Brunson. And just like that, folks, the Knicks now are up big. I apologize to any Nets fans that I offended there, or Celtics fans, even though if you're a Celtics and a Mets fan, you're sacrilegious, and that's okay, but that's a you problem, my friend. Thank you so much, Michael, for the $50 holla. I really do appreciate that. It means so much. It goes right back to the platform and helps support everything here tremendously. Really does mean a lot. Let's get some love and hype in the chat with our guy Michael for being a great member in here with a $50 holla, baby. Thank you kindly for that, my guy. It really does mean a lot. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wutan is for the children. That's a good one, too. Again, there's a lot of fun wordplay for sure. We would see Xavier Edwards get on thanks to Mr. Francisco Lindor not handling the play. He tried to figure out he could turn 2 when he couldn't on the angle he was on, and said he doesn't even catch the ball, and because of that, that would allow the runner to be on base. So there's 2 on, less than 2 out for JONAH. Then another error. Back-to-back plays where there's errors by the Mets infield, just like what they did between Alonso and Nimmo yesterday. This time it's Lindor and Alonso, as Alonso then can't make the play there that we would see at first base. Everyone is safe there. Runners at second and third in this one, and it's a 12-2 Miami Marlin deficit. So they're crawling back. They're only down by 10, but they're starting to crawl back. We would see Agustin Ramirez pop out, which would be huge in the infield. Otto Lopez would smoke himself a single, his second hit of the ball game. That makes it a 12-4 Miami Marlin deficit, and you could see JONAH was getting pissed off. I love the fact that we saw JONAH get as pissed off as he was today. You could tell that he was not happy with the defensive hiccups around him. Why? Because it's not his fault. You know, it's not Buddy's fault that the defense was incompetent around him. So how would Ton work with this, knowing that he's for certain only going to pitch the 5th inning? He, of course, won at least 6 innings, goes 5, and what does he do? He gets a called strike 3, bottom, below the zone, but it gets too close to take if you're the umpire making that strike 3 call. Liam Hicks is pissed off. JONAH is hyped up, as you see right there. He went from yelling and big F-bomb right after that one, too. Love it. Love the vibes. Love the energy, everybody. JONAH is done after 5 gorgeous innings of work for this Mets team. And let's break down what exactly they were, folks. JONAH's final line: 5 innings, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts, 0 walks, 97 pitches, everybody. And that would be good for what? Yeah, that would be good for a 1.8 ERA to begin his young career. Now, JONAH, as we expand on his arsenal and what was working for him today, everybody, let's go ahead and get into it. And let's actually take a look here, because I know that there's probably a breakdown on JONAH's final line through Pitch Profiler or TJ Stats. They always have the metrics based out of 100, how these guys perform. Let me go ahead and see if I can find one. If not, no worries. JONAH tonight, everybody, as follows. The four-seam fastball that he threw right around 61% of the time. He was very four-seam fastball heavy today and was sitting 95 on a, topped out 97, 98 on the gun. He was 7% above league average with that pitch tonight. With a changeup that he threw right around 25%, sitting right around 86 miles per hour, he was right around league average at 96 percentile. Curveball, 13% of the arsenal, sitting right around 78. That was also just a smidge below league average at 94th percentile. And the slider that he threw just 1% of the time tonight, barely threw it obviously, sat right around 87, and that was above league average at 103. So JONAH looking fantastic, looking most certainly like he belongs here, and looked exactly like a guy that should have been called up at least, I would say, a month ago or close to. And yes, my guy, it's dazzling when JONAH is just one of 3 pitchers in Mets franchise history to have, in an MLB debut, 1 earned run or less with no strikeouts. If you don't think that's dazzling, that's fine. But in today's game, knowing you're not going to get length from your starters for the most part, from a 22-year-old rookie who started the year in AA and was there pretty much until a month and a half ago, not even, yes, this is a dazzling debut for a 22-year-old. If you don't think so, I think you're blind, and that's okay. To each their own. Love what I saw from JONAH, and mind you, he still has so much to give. He barely even utilized that changeup when we know that that's a huge pitch for him. We know that the curveball is disgusting. There's a lot more to be utilized in that arsenal, especially when you look at the curve and the slider. As Riddle's saying in the chat, I don't disagree with you, but he didn't really need to tonight, was the main reasoning. So he was obviously going to be comfortable with the fastball, and for a Miami Marlins team that was fastball hunting heading in this matchup, JONAH did a very good job at limiting the damage. What do we see with with Ton, everybody. He topped out 98, like I said, and he sat right around 22 to 2300 on the spin rate with the RPMs with the four-seam. With a changeup, he sat right around 1500. With a curveball, he sat right around 2600 and topped out 2800, so that was nasty. And the slider that he threw just once was at right around 2300 on the RPMs. JONAH for his MLB debut, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts, 0 walks, 97 pitches. Jonah gets an easy, without hesitation, rock solid 7 out of 10 from your guy Tyler today. Very, very happy with what we got from JONAH. I think that grade, again, is not too high, not too low, just about right for Jonah. So if you guys do not like JONAH's grade by yours truly, let me know in the chat if you agree or disagree with it. Let's hear from all you guys watching live on a replay. Justin, thank you so much for the graphic content compliment. I appreciate that. I grind my butt off every single day to make sure I have nice graphics for you guys. So when I get the compliments, I really do appreciate them. Thank you kindly for that. And I was doing all this, mind you, when I was doing my watch party live stream while we were live, just, mere couple minutes ago before this post-game show got going. So again, if you guys did not check out our in-game watch party that was live on YouTube and in the Playback app, make sure you chime in for our next one at playback.tv/WardyNYM. Really do appreciate that. But as we continue on, everybody, again, I'm going with a 7 out of 10, a strong 7 out of 10 for my grade. Let me know your grades to all of our live viewers and to our replay viewers down below, and thank you guys kindly for that. We have more of this Mets ball game to break down. We have more offense to break down, and we have a lot more to get into in the sense of how big of a victory this was for the Mets and how they can pave the way and hopefully make a statement now going forward for the remainder of the series. And thank you so much again. Appreciate that. We got RP. Like for these, like for real, these young kids saved my season. It feels different now. It does feel different. It's absolutely electric. And RP, maybe you got to attend one of those Philly Mets games in Philly over the next week or so. I will be attending. We'll have to make something happen there, my guy. Thank you so much again for the support. I appreciate that. But folks, before we break down more about what was not only a dazzling start for JONAH and a massive blowout victory for the Mets by a final score 19-9, let's hear a quick word from our amazing sponsor in the platform that many of you guys know well at Yes Moomoo, the official trading platform of the New York Mets. Folks, have you been seeing that big orange bowl that's making Mondays at Citi Field way more exciting? I'm talking about our amazing sponsor in the platform at Moomoo. As the #1 Mets channel on YouTube, I absolutely love to break down stats, analysis, really getting into the nitty-gritty numbers, and that is why I love so much Moomoo, because they do exactly that with that same analytical approach when it comes to investing. It's a trading platform with professional grade tools and premium research that other companies usually charge a pretty hefty price for, all come for free when you sign up as a customer with Moomoo. But folks, that's just the tip of the iceberg. And thanks to Moomoo's partnership with our beloved New York Metropolitans, all Moomoo customers can get free tickets to any and every Mets home game on a Monday throughout the course of the season. That's right, folks. Free baseball all season long for the greatest fan base in sports. Not to mention Moomoo Millions. If the Mets pull off 100 wins this season, one lucky Moomoo customer is going to come out winning $1 million. And what's nuts about this is that Moomoo has already given away $10,000 when the Mets hit first 25 wins this season, as well as $20,000 when they hit the 50-win mark. And when the Mets inevitably hit 75 wins, they're giving away $30,000. But as much as they love baseball, Moomoo's #1 priority is jump-starting your investing journey, which is why they're giving the WardyNYM community up to $1,000 in NVIDIA stock just for making a qualified deposit and becoming a Moomoo customer. So folks, what are you waiting for? Head to start.moomoo.com/Wardy, scan the QR code, or click the link in the description to join the Moomoo community. Now, let's get back to our Mets. All right, folks, as we continue on this one and get into this blowout victory for the Mets over the Miami Marlins, JONAH was the story heading into the ball game, but quickly became not just the story of JONAH, but the story of this Mets offense, just pouring it on this Miami Marlins ball club. And that would continue on in this one, everybody, is as we would advance then in the bottom of the 5th, the Mets would not get anything going there outside of a Juan Soto walk. In the 6th inning, Ryan Helsley comes in, and Ryan Helsley works the scoreless inning, believe it or not. For those who don't know the Ryan Helsley story, I broke it down in a video earlier today, but I'll remind each and every one of you once more. Ryan Helsley has been tipping pitches, and he's been tipping pitches not long since arriving with the New York Mets. And because of that reason, he's been doing everything in his power to obviously remedy and fix this. It's something that he subconsciously does with his mechanics. And we don't know exactly to what degree he's doing wrong. They won't say verbatim what it is because you don't want to, say more than you should be in the public eye. However, Helsley does appear that he figured out to a degree today. It didn't start great, but it ended strong. He gave up a leadoff double right away to Connor Norby, a soft double, mind you, and then we saw a ground out on Johnston, a fly out on Wagaman, and then a huge final out in the inning that had everything to do with Francisco Lindor and Pete Alonso trying to right the wrong with their defensive hiccup an year or so ago. We would see Lindor with the spin, the throw, the fire, and he's out! Alonso with a gorgeous toe tap to keep that on the bag for the final out on Weimer, and that does it for the inning. Ryan Helsley, for the first time since that 13-3 dominant victory over the Phillies in Game 1 that set, in which yours truly was in attendance this past Monday, we saw Ryan Helsley with a scoreless outing. Helsley is now down to a ERA of 4.34 on the season, and obviously trying to get down from that north of 10 ERA with the Mets, which has been far from ideal. As we continue on, everybody, in the bottom of the 6th inning, the Mets continue to pour it on. Brandon Nimmo, what does he do? It's high, it's far, and it is gone. His 22nd home run of the year there for Himmo, and that would be 107 off the bat, roughly 360 feet. And just like that, everybody, the Mets have themselves what? They have themselves a total of a 13-4 lead. This would be Brandon Nimmo's second home run of the night, mind you. Nimmo now has 10 home runs, 10 games in his career with at least 2 home runs. Love to hear that for Brandon Nimmo, who has obviously had a bit of an up-down season, but really happy to see the production that he's been putting on as of late for this Mets club. Brett Beatty would get on with a 1-out single, but that's all short for the inning. In the 7th, Jose Castillo comes in, the towering 6'6" or so southpaw, and he would give up a 2-out single to Augustin Ramirez, an Otto Lopez single, but then he'd get a fly on Liam Hicks to end it unscathed. In the bottom of the 7th inning, we would see Ronnie Mauricio come in for Francisco Lindor, which I loved. Really happy that in a game where Mullins, McNeil, and Mauricio did not start, that we would see Mauricio and Mullins come in at this point in the ballgame. Made endless sense with the lead the Mets had. Why keep Lindor out there longer than you need to keep him out there, right? So Mauricio, unfortunately, softly grounded out in the infield, and Mullins struck out on a slider down and in. Both of them had underwhelming at-bats off the bench, and then Alonso flew out as we head to the 8th inning. And in the 8th inning, guys, we would see what happens. It's more Jose Castillo pitching, which means that after 1 out, Troy Johnston with a single, Eric Wagaman with his 22nd double of the year, and then a sac fly by Weimer would make it a 13-5 deficit for Miami. Xavier Edwards would strike out swinging, however, and that does it for Jose Castillo, who works 2+ strong innings of work, 4 hits allowed, 1 earned run, and Jose Castillo has a 4.98 ERA rate for them. That's not great, but also a guy who hasn't pitched at all competently at the major league level since 2018. The Mets have sneakily gotten some solid outings out of him this year, so we'll take that for what it is. Then here comes Javier Sonoja, pitching for the 3rd time in the past 4 games for Miami, because that's how bad that they have been as of late. The position players in the 8th inning, and right away Mark Vientos is saying to himself, I'm stat padding, baby. Vientos gets all that one for his 14th home run of the year on a meatball. Afterwards, Brandon Nimmo pulls a single for his 3rd hit of the ball game. Marte would get on with a walk, which I think is hilarious. Why not try to take daddy hacks, even if you have to go bad news Bears and step completely out of the zone because he can't locate? Why not, is all I have to say about that. Or if you ever interview Ton in the future, ask him how he who he mains in Smash Bros. Just for you. As long as I remember, I'll gladly make that happen. Tyler with the 1909. Thank you so much. 1909, thank you so much. Big ups indeed, Tyler. Appreciate that donation. I love the people that donate on the score, especially when the Mets score roughly 20 runs. I'll take that little 19.909 hahala of a donation. Thank you kindly for that, my guy. Really does mean a lot. Big ups indeed, baby. Boys absolutely went blast off, lift off, and they did not look back against this Miami Marlins squad today. Now let's hope that they can get that Game 3 victory tomorrow and secure the sweep there on Sunday. But as we continue on this one, everybody, Brett the Hitman will get on with a single. It's bases loaded, no out here for Tyrone Taylor. And Tyrone Taylor hits himself his 17th double of the season, everybody. His 2nd of the game, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. It's a 16-5 ball game. Tyrone Taylor, big hit parade for him. Luis Torrens said, let me get my 2nd home run of the week. This time, a towering shot. His 4th home run of the season, 2nd of the week. Will be a 19-5 Mets lead. Again, they're beating up on what you would see there, that being in the guys that are not supposed to pitch, and Sonoja and the other position players for Miami. A Ronnie Mauricio single later and a Pete Alonso double play ends the 8th, but not before the Mets are now up 19-5. As we have the 9th inning, Luis Torrens, who hit the home run the half inning prior, stays in the ball game as a pitcher. Torrens comes in, he gives up a walk, He gives up a pop out, which I think is hilarious. He gives up a pop out to Sonoha, the same guy who was pitching a half inning ago. Then Otto Lopez smokes his 12th home run of the year. He got all that one for sure. Stat padding's fine. That was his third hit of the ball game and was a triple shy of the cycle. That would make it 19-7. Liam Hicks right away pulls his fifth home run of the year to right. That would make it 9-8 Marlins deficit. And then we would see Connor Norby with a single. Troy Johnston with a triple to make it 19-9, and that's where they decided to bring in Ryan Stanek. Stanek comes in, he gets Wagman to strike out, and Joey Weimer to strike out, and that does it, everybody, for what was a big victory. Mets go on to win this one again by a final score of 19-9, folks, and as we mentioned, JONAH did his job, he did his thing. If there's any negative I could say about JONAH today, it's not even a negative, just things that I know he will continue to work on. Definitely was struggling a little bit fastball inside of those lefty batters. Saw him kind of going inside it more often than maybe he should in certain moments, and got some lucky calls in his favor. I also saw him not be able to hit at all, that we saw with some of his breaking pitches as we got to the third, fourth inning especially. But outside that, Ton was brilliant. You know, and again, for a 22-year-old to be as calm, cool, and collected as he was today, to handle the adversity the way that he did when you had the back-to-back errors from Lindor and Alonso, to do that as comfortably as he did and to still make the Mets obviously win in a handsome fashion today is a very important thing. So very encouraged with JONAH, to say the least. Love to see it. What took so long to get Ton? Seriously. And here's the thing about Ton. Buddy had to wait like almost an hour in between innings because of how many effing runs the Mets are scoring in their first two outings. It was kind of nuts. Pete and Ton smoking a bond. I did see something that I thought was hilarious on X. I don't know if someone actually held true to it or not, but he said, for every strikeout JONAH has tonight, I'm going to hit the Ton bond. So if you guys are users medically or recreationally there of hemp cannabis, then I'm sure you were getting a kick out of that moment as it happened. Because I was dying laughing when I saw it. Because I'm like, all the word, I love wordplay. If you guys couldn't figure it out by now, I take a lot of pride and being obnoxious with it in my post-game shows and my content in general. So any type of fun word you could pair with Ton, we're going to continue to repeat that throughout his starts for the remainder of the season, heading into, hopefully, postseason play. But Helsley, Castillo, Terren, Stanek, I'm going to not include Terren's in the bullpen today. So having said that, the bullpen is going to get a rock-solid grade today of a 7 out of 10, just like JONAH. I'm excluding Terren's because, again, we're not going to factor in a position player when the Mets were literally saying, we know we kicked your ass so bad that we're going to line up a little bit. We're going to throw out one of our position players so we don't have to waste an arm, even though they still had to in the end, because as it was a 19-9 ball game, we're like, listen, a 9-10 run lead is as close as we're going to get to being saying to ourselves, okay, we're comfortable. You know, that's it. Gravity Ton, a clean sweeper. That's a good one, too. This is what I mean. Love to see it. So that's what you got from the pitching today, everybody. From the hitting, the Mets came to play. And how the ball game ended is what you see beside me. So before you say to yourself, oh, Wardy, you have the lineup wrong. No, I don't, you schmuck. Listen to me. This is how the ball game ended. So whoever was in the ball game at the end of the game was the guys that you're going to see in the graphic beside me. It's an automated graphic, if you guys don't know. So it quickly automates for me. And the only thing that I don't love about it at times is when you have maybe a guy with a huge game offensively is pulled after 7-8 innings, you won't know unless I relay it to you. But that's why I'm relaying it to you, so that way you know and you're aware. Lindor, 1 for 3 with the run, scored the 2 RBIs today. 269 average, 796 OPS. Mauricio 1 for 2, 232 average, 679 OPS. He will inevitably be sent down sooner rather than later unless he gets really hot in his limited playing time as Jesse Winker and Jose Siri continue to crawl their ways back there to the major league level. Guys, also crazy stat in regards to JONAH. I want to talk about this briefly. Mets starters age 22 or younger to go at least 5 innings and allow 1 or 0 earned runs in their debut, folks. Get ready for this. It's JONAH and the man who towed the rubber at the young age of 19 for his debut, Doc Gooden. I'll let you guys feel however you want to feel with that. I'll let you guys think however you want to think with that. All I'm telling you is that's decent company. Just decent. As we continue on with the offense, we not only saw Soto, big game, 2 hits, a bomb, a 2-run bomb, 251 average, 884 OPS. Alonso, 3 for 6. Love to see it with the Oppo bomb. 2 RBIs, 269 average, 868 OPS. Vientos with the garbage time bomb. 2 for 4 game, 3 runs scored, 246 average, 729 OPS. Nemo, great game for Nemo. 2 home runs, quality home runs that being. 3 for 4, 4 runs scored, 4 RBIs, 262 average, 782 OPS. Start-studded Starling with an RBI that we saw a little bit to right center. 1 for 4, 2 runs scored, 282 average, 797 OPS. Brett Beatty, 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored. Another solid game for Beatty, 252 average, 748 OPS. Tyrone Taylor, big game for TT. Couple doubles, 4 RBIs, 218 average, 592 OPS. Terens, big home run, 3 RBIs, 218 average, 616 OPS. And Stanek, who again didn't get a chance to bat, obviously. As we saw with the Mets, not only were they 8 for 9 with runners in scoring position, which I can't get over saying. Like, seriously, 8 for 9? Are you kidding me? And I love the fact that the Mets also did this without having Jeff McNeil in their lap today, because McNeil hadn't gotten a hit in the past 3 games for the Mets now, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's on a 3-game hitless skid, so that went in part as to why he didn't start today. And a perfect time to give him rest. Seriously, the Mets did not need him at all in this one. But the Mets go 8 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Alonso's up to 110 on the RBIs this year. Lindor's up to 75. Marte's at 28. But crazy enough, Lindor and Nimmo are having such early similar offensive seasons, it's not even funny. Again, Lindor has, 25 home runs this year, around there, 25 stolen bags. Nimmo has himself 77 RBIs, 22 home runs at least, and he's right in there. The only difference is I know Lindor has a good amount more stolen bags than Nimmo this season, but outside of that, they're pretty neck and neck, which has been cool to see. Nimmo and Lindor could both very well F around and finish the season with north of 30 home runs and have themselves right around 95 to 100 RBIs. Love that. And then you add in the fact that Alonso is going to finish the year with at least 130 RBIs, if not 140, and hopefully get in the 40 home run campaign or close to if he can really get on a tear the final month. It's okay if he doesn't. Soto obviously has been brilliant. Soto now has 81 RBIs on the year and 33 home runs. He's on pace to have another 100 RBI, 40 home run season, this time with 25 to 30 stolen bases, something he's never done before. Juan Soto, believe it or not, if we exclude the runner in scoring position woes, which was not a problem for him today by getting that early home run and Lindor at second base, the guy's been awesome this year. And outside of the runner in scoring position stats, all of his other offensive stats are pretty much the norm, and his base running has really been that differentiator for him this year. I really appreciate his hustle. We saw his hustle out of the box today as well. He's doing a really good job. You can tell that Soto's getting more and more comfortable, which is nice to see. That's McLean. Yep. Love McLean. We love ourselves some Nolan. But that's what we got from the Mets offense in this one. They did everything that you could possibly ask for and then some in this huge victory for the Mets. So, guys, before we get to just answering your comments, questions, and concerns for our latest Q&A segment here on the platform, what we are going to do is relay to make sure that I did not miss any key statistic that I want to relay your way, guys. I don't believe that I'm missing anything overly important, but I'm just double-checking right here, right now, before we wrap it up, because I think that's important. And, there is like 1 or 2 more things I did want to pull up for you guys. So, one, it's this. Take a look at this with me. Jonah Tom's arm angle is ridiculous. Look at this. Look at Jonah Tom's arm angle. Just like take a look at this, guys. Like, this is ridiculous. And the way it explodes out the hand is what's so impressive to me. Like, he's full 12 o'clock, for the most part, with that release. And then the fall through is what's even crazier because of how, again, identical it is to Tim Lincecum. We've been saying this for the longest time, but this is a perfect example of just how identical he is to Tim. For those that don't know, Tim Lincecum is a very impressive pitcher. One of the better pitchers in recent memory for the San Francisco Giants, helped lead them to multiple championships. But Lincecum, who was a great young star in his career, unfortunately fell off right after he peaked early because of injuries. And the injuries went in direct hand with his mechanics. So that is something that I'm sure the Mets are very cognizant and aware of, because while we love the way that he looks in similarity to Lincecum, we want to make sure that unlike Lincecum and unlike Noah Syndergaard, who was the last Mets starter to toe the rubber as a young, very exciting prospect at the age of 22, that they don't peak and are out of the league by the time they're around 30. That's what we need to make sure of. We need to make sure that a decade from now, Jonah Tom is still hopefully toeing the rubber for this Mets team at the young age of 32. That's what we're going to hope and pray for. But as you guys can see right here, that's as much of a side-by-side and identical side-by-side as they come from what you see in Lincecum as well as Mr. Jonah Tom. Literally identical. Like, There's nothing. The only difference is that Lincecum is a little bit more flat-footed with his left foot there when he plants, whereas Ton kind of keeps the toes up slightly. But again, that's me like nitpicking it. They are literally to a T the exact same thing, which is really cool to see. And one final thing, at least one final thing I want to relay in regards to Ton, and you guys can follow me on X right there at WardyNYM. I also have my other X account with over 70,000 followers at the WardyNYM. Make sure to follow them both should you guys have interest. And on Instagram, check me out at NYM Update, as I'm officially partnered as an Instagram account with my buddy Andrew, who's doing a great job running it for me. So make sure to check out all the content if you haven't already. Shout out to my guy Brandon London. That was from my segment the other day in studio with the New York Post in NYC. Cannot wait to be back there sooner rather than later. This was me promoting the stream earlier. So now let's go down here. Carson Bench, by the way, hit his first home run for AAA Syracuse. That is going to be starting center fielder for the Mets in 2026. Carson Bench, too, if you know, you know. Let's go over here real quick. JONAH was awesome. Jet Williams liked and retweeted my post on JONAH today, too. I thought that was cool. Jet is one of many players that follows my bigger account, which I'm very appreciative of. As we see here, let's go back to JONAH's mechanics, because this was nuts. These are some of my reactions to during the game. I can actually play some of those for you guys if you have interest. I'll do that in a second, as a matter of fact, from playback. But look at this, guys. Look at this grip by JONAH. This is the Vulcan grip for his changeup. Insane. Let's actually pull this up on a greater scale here. Look at that. That's nuts. Where's my Star Trek fans at? But in similarity to the Ghost Fork and how wide he has to get for his grip, that being in Senga, you know, this is one of those things that does unfortunately put a good wear and tear on your elbow. So it is something to bear in mind. However, when it works, it's disgusting. And that's exactly what JONAH was doing and cooking with. Just look at that. That is the new and improved Vulcan changeup grip by JONAH. So, again, I don't have a baseball in my possession right now to grab. I wish I... Oh, wait, I do. Let's be smart about this. I'm going to do it, but I'm going to be very gentle with it because the only baseball that I have by me... No, I can't do that one. This is a Tom Seaver baseball. I'm not going to touch that. Not going to touch that at all. What I will do is touch a different baseball that is still significant, but maybe just a smidge less significant than Tom Seaver. A smidge. And we're actually going to go with a Darryl Strawberry signed baseball that has a 1986 World Series graphic on it. If you guys can see that little design. Very cool. These are all gifted to me by an awesome follower of mine from a couple years ago, which I appreciate so much. He knows exactly who he is. But that grip, let's go ahead and let's replicate it together, everybody. This feels so uncomfortable. And the idea of throwing this as hard as he does is insane to me. So there we go, everybody. If we take a look at the grip itself, that's pretty much in line with what he's doing. With the U of the seam, he's going 2 on each side. Right there. And you can just feel, and he's digging deep, mind you, when he's putting this grip in. And for him to keep those 2 fingers on each side together as tight as he does. So he's pretty much throwing it in similar fashion this. I don't have it perfect. Let me go ahead and try to make it a little bit more centered there with a U. But that's essentially the grip that he's throwing, mind you, right? And again, this is insane to me. I can barely keep my fingers together trying to do this. So that's the Vulcan grip right there for the most part. 2 fingers on each side, gripping tightly, and letting it loose. And that changeup, mind you, that he's throwing at this such obnoxious comfortability of a grip, he's throwing this at a rate of 86, 87 miles per hour with nasty movement. So, yeah, clearly it's working. It's something nice. I can't do it nearly as well as he does, obviously, but I do think that's pretty damn sick. So, one more time, and then I'll show you guys right here, right now. So let's go actually to the main slide for a second. Again, going like right there. Guys, see how nuts that is? And I can't even do it nearly as well as he does it, obviously. my hands probably aren't as big as his, obviously, too, so that's something to bear in mind. But anyways, the Walmart, the garbage version of his little Vulcan grip is what we're showcasing here. Shout out to Strawberry. We appreciate him. But yeah, nuts. So let's put this puppy back in here. Let's continue on. And yeah, I know, guys, if you didn't hear my audio well, that's just because I wasn't holding my mic for a second. It's okay. It's because the Shure SM7B doesn't pick up too much around it. This is a very good quality mic, which I love. Absolutely love it. So, what what else do I have to say? Do I got anything crazy? Oh yeah, let me show you the clips. And then we'll get on to wrapping up the show here. There's a couple more things I did want to show you guys, which was the home run reactions to what the Mets were doing today from yours truly. Let's just go ahead and show you. Also, I'd advise to lower your audio slightly because I do scream my head off in some of these if you couldn't tell by now.
Delete.
And the 1-0. This one right through 98. Middle. It's BrandonNYM. It's back even on the count, 101.
He's still trying to get his act back together following Tommy John. They've got a pretty good threesome atop their rotation.
Oh, Brandon rips one. It's high. It's far. It's out of there. A three-run shot for BrandonNYM. And the Mets are absolutely blowing the doors off Yuri Perez here in the first. What a start to the ball game for the boys. They're not missing nothing right now. Serving up meatballs after walking everybody. Your mother's Yuri is getting a nice smack of reality, which is that the Mets came to play tonight. This is art right here, mind you. Art. That we have linked and pinned in the live chat here on YouTube for you guys, as we have 20 plus people here in playback. They're having a great time right now. Soto rips one. It's high. It's far. It's good. A two-run shot to begin the ball game for Juan Soto. And the Mets have themselves a 2-0 lead. A towering shot just under 400 feet. Takes that fastball up high, and he did not miss this one. His 33rd home run of the year, everybody. And the Mets are up by 2. City is rocking. JONAH has a 2-run cushion. Let's effing go. Little did I know that 2-run cushion would quickly become a 12-run cushion. My God.
Watch what his back knee. He almost gets all the way down to the ground on his back knee.
Oh, wait. This is the one I haven't played yet. Let's go ahead and play. No, wait. I played that one. The bats came to play.
To get his body down to hit that pitch, he does go on his knee.
Fly ball right field off the bat of the lines.
Come on! Yeah! Let's go! Are you kidding me? First pitch, sayonara, out of here! An opposite field bomb for the Polar Bear. The Mets are up 7-0. What a bomb! What a night there at City, and the fireworks. You might not have enough for fireworks night because you're setting them all up. Oh my goodness, it's only the second inning. That is what you do against Tyler Zuber. 106 miles per hour off the bat opposite field by Alonso. That shot had shades of the bomb against Devin Williams there in the wild card in 2024. Mets up 7, and now it's a 7-run cushion there for JONAH. Things we love to see, baby. Let's go, Pete. So those were the reactions. If you guys want to see more of my live reactions in real time as they happen, again, make sure to check out our awesome friends at playback.tv/WardyNYM. Head right there. All you need is an MLB TV subscription. It's that easy to sign up, everybody. And then you enter my room, you watch a game live in real time with me, and we have a lot of fun, as well as the things that we do here on YouTube as well as we simulcast it. But that is going to do it, everybody. The Mets win this one again by a final score of 19-9. A big victory here on this Friday night. Finally, for what feels like the first time in forever, the Mets played not just competent baseball, but rock-solid baseball on a Friday night with the fans packed and loud in attendance, with fireworks going everywhere, left, right, and center. You'll love to see it. Thank you guys all so much. Shout out Mac Dog, great member as always. everyone watching live on replay, I really do appreciate you guys. Hit that like and subscribe button on your way out, and I will see you all tomorrow for more Mets content. Be on the lookout, as I will have a recap video barring changes that will be dropping for you guys to check out in the AM and the Bleacher Report app. Just head over to Bleacher Report, look at Mets, scroll down, look for my thumbnail that you saw from this live stream, and I'll have a nice little 2 to 3 minute recap of everything that went right for the Mets in this big victory. Until then, everybody, have a great rest of your night, day, evening, whenever you're watching this. And as always, no matter what, let's go Mets, baby. Have a great night, everybody. Peace out.